Hey guys, it's me, Mario, and today we're going to continue Luna, the Moon Wolf. Chapter 8, An Invisible Enemy. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing alright. I sure am. An Invisible Enemy. Chapter 8. We have to get out of here, said Tom, and fast. We'll come back for the amulet. He began to back out of the forest. The cubs came after him in a pack, just as he'd planned. But it was a dangerous game that Tom had started. The cubs were fast, and they threw themselves at Tom from all sides. No sooner had he dodged one attack than he had to face another. Elena tried to keep the cubs at a safe distance, using her bow to shoot her arrows into the ground at their paws. But they looked determined to taste Tom's blood, and nimbly leaped over the arrow shafts. One of the cubs clamped its jaws on Tom's shield and hung there. Growling with difficult, he... growling. Excuse me. Add. With difficulty, he shook it off. One of the cubs clamped its jaws on Tom's shield and hung there growling. With difficulty, he shook it off, and saw the deep marks its teeth had left in the wood. Immediately, he had to leap away from another cub trying to take a chunk out of his ankles. Nearly there, shouted Elena, encouraged him. She was by Tom's side, waiting for Luna to appear. She had a fresh arrow already fitted to her bow. They passed the last of the blood-stained trees with Storm following, and emerged out of the plain again. It was completely dark now. High above, the full moon shone brightly. High above, the full moon shone brightly. Then Tom heard a sound that made the hairs at the back of his neck stand on end. The high, angry howl of Luna. And here is Tom defending himself from the wolf cubs with his shield. At once the cubs froze. Tom saw his chance. He grabbed one of them by the scruff of its neck. It yowled in anger, and the other three cubs relaunched their attack on Tom, scrambling around his feet. But Silver leaped forwards, showing his fangs. The cubs backed off, growling defiantly. The howl of their mother, Wolf, rung out again. Much closer this time. She was almost upon them. Tom stood with the cub in one hand and his shield in the other. Beside him, Elena raised her bow. Storm paced the ground alongside them. The beast burst through the trees, looking around frantically for her young. Tom's plan had worked. He lured Luna out of the dark wood. Elena, Elena gasped. Tom instinctively took a step backwards. He had never seen anything like this. More than 3 times the size of Silver, her fur was as white as the moon, and her red eyes burned with fury. She spotted Tom and reared into her hind legs. And there's Luna facing Tom. Her curved yellow fangs glistened with drool. Her claws were black and fused together like knives. Silver whimpered and slunk backwards. Storm stepped protectively in front of his friend. Twang. Elena had loosened off an arrow. It hit Luna's side and bounced away. Arrows were useless against her thick hide. The 3 cubs on the ground bounded towards their mother. Tom let the cub he was holding drop, and it scampered back to Luna too. Tom drew his sword. Luna dropped down onto all fours. A second later, she was running over the plain towards Tom at blinding speed. The ghost beast launched herself at Tom. He had a momentary glimpse of her yellow snout, burning red eyes, and black claws sailing through the air towards him. He dived to one side. The claws missed him by a hair's length. Tom hit the ground rolling and was rolled and now was up. Bad. Tom hit the ground, rolled, and was up again. Already Luna had turned. She launched at him, snapping. She launched at him again, snapping. Tom just managed to get his shield up in time to protect himself, but the impact of Luna's weight nearly knocked him from his feet. He thrust his sword at the wolf, aiming for the center of her chest. The blow was firm, but it didn't penetrate Luna's thick fur. The blade bounced off with a force that jarred Tom's whole arm. Luna swept at him with her curved black claws. The blow would have taken Tom's head off if he hadn't ducked in time. He retreated, half blinded by the sweat in his eyes, holding his shield before him. He saw Elena loose off arrow after arrow. That's not what it says. He saw Elena loose off another arrow, this time aiming for the wolf's head. Again, the arrow glanced off without doing any damage. Glanced. Why does it say glanced? Shouldn't it say bounced? Oh well. Again, the arrow glanced off without doing any damage. "I'm sorry, Tom," she called. "My arrows can't even scratch her. Luna leaped at Tom again. As he jumped aside, he slashed at her muzzle with his sword. He heard Luna howl in pain. He had managed to hurt her, but not seriously. He hadn't even drawn blood. All he'd done was enrage her even more. Her eyes glowed brighter still, and she showed her teeth as she turned and stalked towards Tom again. Furiously, Luna opened her jaws in a howl and arched her back as she reared up on her hind legs. Tom watched as she slowly became paler, then transparent, as if she were made of glass. Then she disappeared completely. All Tom could see was her two glowing red eyes. Now he had to fight an invisible beast. He heard Elena gasp as the eyes rushed towards him. Tom dived to her one side. He felt the snap of Luna's fangs just inches away from his neck. Her fur tickled his skin as she passed. Even though he couldn't see her, "I'll keep fighting you," he yelled defiantly. He got to his feet, holding out his shielded sword. He could see the red eyes bobbing in the air, but he had no idea from which direction Luna would attack. Behind him he heard Storm pacing the ground. Tom worryingly kept his sword up, making sure he was always facing the eyes as they hovered in and circled him. From the edge of the dark wood, he heard the animal noises rising again. Baying, snuffling, growling, howling. Tom! Shouted Elena. "The wild animals are returning." Tom glanced over his shoulder and saw the black outlines of foxes, wolves, and wild dogs at the edge of the forest. The moon had come out, and now Luna was at her strongest. Time was running out for Tom. He had to be brave and win this quest, and he had to do it quickly. That was chapter 8. Here is Tom fighting the invisible Luna. Well, trying to fight Luna while she is invisible. Hope you will join me again on Tuesday for chapter 9, the final fight. And yeah. Hope I didn't stutter or pause too much. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. I always wondered what would happen if Tom tried reforming the beasts instead of killing them all. I always thought that was kind of weird, that he would kill some and then not kill others. It's kind of weird. And he did kill the Gorgonian beasts so he did kill those. And those beasts were technically the protectors of Gorgonia. So you technically killed those, but they're not mentioned or they're not mentioned or doing anything about Gorgonia at all in the future. So I don't know what's is Gorgonia like in ruin? Is Malville defeated? Because he is kind of mentioned in the fourth series, but then he kind of disappears in the fifth. So that's kind of weird. And a new evil wizard is like introduced in the fifth. Right, the fifth? Yeah. A new evil villain is like introduced in the fifth. And I don't know what's going on there. They also go to a new kingdom, which is kind of cool, I guess. Tom didn't like free the Gorgonian beasts from Melville's control, or didn't even try to free them, if they even could be freed. And he is kinda killing the ghost beasts. But since they're ghost beasts, their essence is kinda like in the crystal that he gets from defeating them. And he kinda leaves the wolf cubs just in the dark wood afterwards. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's a little criticism from me with these books. He kind of frees some beasts and kind of kills others. It's kind of weird. Does he kill them? Because they kind of turned into jewels. So I don't know if they're... I don't know if they're kind of dead or not dead, because the crystals are kind of have magical powers, and he might be using the dead beast's essence as power. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this chapter of Beast Quest, Luna the Moon Wolf, and I will see you in chapter 9. Yeah. Hope you like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you guys are interested in more Beast Quest. And thank you for all the new subscribers that have been subscribing when I was, not here. When I had my broken toe and sick. But yeah. Hope you enjoy and like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm gonna stop talking and stop this video. Alright, bye. This isn't working. Bye.